What's up? What's up? What's up? Sports
What's
Mix
up,
being
man?
here. What's going on, my guy?
What's up, man?
Oh man, another day in the neighborhood.
Oh, that's right.
You do something, bring it back.
Mm-hmm.
got a few things stewing and brewing in the sports world today. Last couple of days for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Want to get my guy. Know you got some opinions
Oh,
on some
yeah.
on some of these hot topics.
Right.
yeah,
You on Facebook now? I don't
yeah,
see it.
yeah. It's up.
Are you really?
Yep.
On your Kenny Wilkes?
It should be in the sports mix.
Oh, hold on. Yeah, it might be.
Yeah, it's in the sports mix. I see it. We in there.
I got you. I
Yeah,
got
we in there. Yeah, we in there. Let me cut this volume down.
you.
But yeah, we in there. I see Queen Sister Brenda is watching.
All right. All right.
What's happening? The workout beast. Killing it. She killing it in the gym.
Mm-hmm.
Motivation. I like it. Well, what's up to everybody that's checking out the sports mix tonight? We got a little something for y'all. About an hour's worth.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna chop it up, man. We're gonna talk about the hot topic right now, Mr. Ime Udokah. He got everybody up in a in an uproar, I guess, with his infidelities, and I'm sure it's gonna be some more coming out about it.
Mm-hmm.
We just kind of scratching the surface on that, but we're gonna start there. We're gonna start there with that. Might as well
Mm-hmm.
jump right into the fire.
Shit.
So Shia in the building. What's up, Shia? So yeah, man. So for those that don't know, Ime Udokah, head coach of the Boston Celtics, found
Yeah.
himself in some very hot water over the weekend. I guess the story broke.
Right.
Um, he's been having some uh, affairs, if you will, with some members of the Boston Celtics.
Mm-hmm.
The women have some role in the organization. I do know one of the ladies they say was like the wife of a vice president or something. Was that did that sound right?
I guess so. Um, I don't know.
you know, so he's got a little situation going on there with some couple ladies from the organization, and
Yeah.
that's a no according to that's a no in most corporate situations.
Mm,
They call it fraternizing.
yeah.
So he's fraternizing. Look like fraternizing pretty frequently. Uh, so and even on a more uh, bringing it more home, he's engaged to Nia Long,
Mm-hmm.
very popular actress,
Mm-hmm.
um, and you know, beautiful young lady, if you will. She been holding pretty well. To be, she's been around. She's been acting for what, at least 20, 25 years. Um, I think the first time I remember seeing Nia Long was like in Boys in the Hood.
Yeah.
Maybe that was the first time I seen it. And,
Mm-hmm.
so and Boston, of course, was in the finals last year, and
Mm-hmm.
they put that camera on Nia pretty much every chance they got.
Mm-hmm.
That she was engaged to the coach, or she was the wife of the coach, however they were saying it. But so there's a couple angles, there's a couple of different things,
Mm-hmm.
that people been kind of going at it. First
Mm-hmm.
off, it was a lot of outrage because he was cheating on Nia Long. Uh, And I got some thoughts about that. And then just the whole fraternization on the job type situation. And should it have become a public thing? Should it have been put out in public? Um, because we know this type of thing goes on,
Mm-hmm.
in regular jobs. It's not even, public jobs where it's, on TV and stuff like that. We know this type stuff goes on a lot. So, it was made a big deal made out. I know Stephen A. Smith took a stance
Mm-hmm.
about it being public, and people from Boston kind of leaking it.
Mm-hmm.
Should they have leaked it? Should it have been dealt with in house? That type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then the punishment. He's going to be out for the whole season.
Mm-hmm.
Now, of course, without really knowing all the evidence, all that really went on, was the, we could say the punishment was a little bit over the top. But then again, we don't know all the facts and who's, who he actually was sleeping with and whose wife it was and all that. So I'm sure all that stuff will come out. And I personally think that I don't think he's going to be able to recover from it and come back and coach. I think at some point they're going to have to, they're going to work out some kind of buyout and to get him up out of there, or they'll try to get the lawyers involved and say he breached his contract some kind of way. I don't think he's coming back next year personally. I think he's seen his last day as a Boston Celtics head coach. That's just how I see it so far with what we got, what we know so far. So what's your thoughts on this whole situation, my man? Take your time too.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, I think guys, not talking about you or us, but I think guys in social media have gotten to the point where they gossip more than no respect, all respect to all the ladies, of course, no doubt. I mean, we all love the ladies, but now, man, 2022, man, guys gossip just like women, man, and it's like, it's like, to me, it's their business. I mean, I can see, okay, Boston Celtics said, well, they don't want anything going on within the organization, maybe, with, employees, or I get that.
Right.
But all that other stuff, man, that's between him and Nia Long. That's none of my business. I don't even, when I see guys like, you look at different threads or Twitter and you see guys talking about, this, and I'm like, come on, man, y'all worse. I mean, gossiping. I don't care about that. I mean, let her handle her business. We all, we all guys, so we all love Nia Long.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we brother to the night. All right, all right, all right. But man, you know what? Come on, man. It's like, dudes gossip so much now. It's like, I don't know. It's like one of them gossip shows, and it's like, okay, well, what you think she gonna do? Here's the kicker. I've seen people comment on Nia Long's posts, and I ain't gonna say no names, but we know them, mutual friends. You can't even get a hello from these dudes, right? They talk to Nia Long like, boo, don't worry about it. Don't worry. Come on, man. Are you serious?
They was comforting her.
Yeah, come on. Like she gonna get in their inbox and say, I appreciate you doing that. She's not worried about you.
In her time of need,
Yeah, come on. I mean, then dudes like, man, whoa, she ain't married him in 10 years and this and that, being engaged. That's none of my business. If they happy, I'm happy. I mean, come on, man. It's like,
yeah.
Sitting up there, dude. I can understand. I mean, I don't know. I mean, no disrespect to no one, but y'all get what I'm saying, right? It's like, it's too much, man. Like, now if they go and work it out, I can see dudes. Man, I don't know. That's because your woman ain't working out with you.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
That's
And
none of my business.
So. When you are a celebrity,
yeah,
or Hollywood type,
yeah,
the rules are different.
Yeah.
And
How many times have I cheated on Jill Scott and she took me back? Come on, man. And I'll probably do it again.
The
No,
rules,
just
the rules are different. You know what I'm
right,
saying? And they got to learn how to move a certain way.
right, right.
Every little thing they do is in the public. You know, now, you know, everybody is TMZ.
Yeah.
Everybody is, you know, shock radio. We as soon as you see a celebrity, we breaking phones out and we, you know what I'm saying? You want, is that his wife? Is that her husband? You know what I'm saying? So everybody got that, you know, or we want to be the one to post it. You know what I'm saying? We want to be the one to post the video or whatever.
Shit, laughing.
Yeah.
My bad, shit.
Yeah, you know, Rob and Jill got a thing that go way back.
Yeah, look, she died laughing.
Yeah, he just don't know about me and Jill's thing.
But
we'll talk about that off air.
I know, right?
Yeah, but you know,
we're gonna be on Maury Povich.
like the Wayne brothers.
Right.
Fighting over the same chick. But you know, see, you know, Jill. Now you got me stuck on Jill Scott.
Hey man, read what Brenda Queen says. She make a good point, Kenny.
Brenda says, why? My thing is why put him on blast and not the woman or women, whoever wife they may be. And I agree.
Good point.
You know what I'm saying? Because they were employees as well.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know, you know, see they always look and they say, well, but he's not in the position to hire and fire these people. He hire and fire people on his staff, but he don't hire and fire people that's in the office.
Sure.
So you can't say that he was in a position of authority where I know that's frowned upon in most you know, corporate situations or work situations. Like the supervisor can't, you know, have situations going on with people that work under him or her. You know, for you know, just it's just not a good look. You know, and then you can kind of control or you know, dangle their job over their head if they're not, you know, doing things you want them to do or whatever the case may be. So I don't think and they made it clear that because they blasted the one sister, they had her picture all over the internet the first day. The young lady that was the ex-basketball player.
Okay.
From she played at Harvard and she played, I believe, in the WNBA for a little bit. And they had her picture plastered all over the internet for the first couple of days. Yeah. Or at least the first day. And then it came out that it wasn't her and she didn't have anything to do with it. And she's somebody that's directly on his staff. You know what I'm saying? So, but and I think that's irresponsible. You know, to kind of to plaster her face all over the internet and have her tied to this stuff. And she's a married woman with children and a family. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sure, you know, she had to go and do some damage control.
Sure.
Even if she was, you know, completely innocent of it, but just for it to get out there like that. You know, and we in such a you know, this microwave society we live in. Everybody, the media types, you know, want to be first to put the story out.
You know, Kenny, you know what's far more sinister?
What's that?
Is sports now, like politics. There's always someone in the organization or in the party or a particular leak to allow a lot of this stuff to come out.
Oh yeah.
And therein lies another issue. Because, like you said, if this woman, for example, has kids or has a husband, or like Ime Udokah, you know, obviously Renee, and they have a son or whatever, and they're leaking this information, somebody.
Yeah.
Because if the Celtics were to say, we're suspending him for a year for whatever reason, they pretty much don't have to tell the public, that he was cheating on his lady.
Right.
They can say conduct detrimental to the team or whatever it may be.
Yep.
So something far more sinister and sneaky is who leaked the information
Yeah,
to allow it to come out in public.
yeah,
Was it somebody in the Celtics organization where, okay, we trying to get this guy out of here, so this is a good push to get him out?
yep,
We don't know. So that's another issue that needs to be dealt with.
yep. What's up, Bank? Coach Ben?
Hermanville, what's up, Bank?
Yeah, but you're right. It's always somebody leaking information.
Mm,
Somebody and people that leak stuff got an ulterior motive. And it like I say, depending on where the leak came from, and we always usually find that stuff out
mhm,
years later.
sure.
We'll find
Yeah,
out who was the one that leaked the story and
right.
how he tried to get a job. He was upset that he didn't get this promotion or that promotion, or
Mhm,
maybe he liked one of the ladies that coach was dealing with. She didn't give him the time of day, so it's always something.
mhm.
You know that now I'm not justifying nothing. I'm not justifying nobody's
Sure, sure.
behavior in it, the right or wrong of it.
Yeah,
But what I'm saying is there's always a reason that stuff like this gets out to the public.
yeah,
Why
yeah.
it become public? Because like you said, this could have been how many times have we seen somebody removed from a team for conduct detrimental?
And we
And,
never know
and
the
we never
reason why.
really know what the conduct is. We just
That's
know that
right.
it's conduct detrimental. Like you said,
That's
they
right.
could have came up with that and said he's
Mhm.
gonna be suspended for
Yeah.
the first 6 months or the first
Mhm.
2 months of the season for
Mhm.
conduct detrimental. You know,
And you know
and
what's crazy? You
mhm,
can have the opposite where, sometimes when people, whether they leave a certain job or organization or whatever, they have certain clauses or things in their contract where they can't talk about certain things. Or,
right, right,
in my opinion, I don't know the wording in his contract, but if said issue was to come up and he has it in his contract where he say, look, if something comes up,
hmm
you got maybe a clause in his contract where the Celtics maybe shouldn't have said anything.
and that's the thing
That could
too.
be a lawsuit.
That's another thing because we're gonna be talking about contracts soon anyway. But
Yeah.
that's another thing.
Yeah.
That's another thing, right? When we on the outside, when we looking at these professional athletes and coaches and whoever, and we look at all we really understand is the dollar.
Mm,
He turned down this money or he accepted that money.
mhm,
What we don't really understand is the nuts and bolts of that contract
mhm.
and how extensive some of them contracts are. Like you just
Yeah,
said, he could have some stuff in his contract
sure.
that say I don't want X and Y talked about, or and
Mhm,
and contracts are that really that simple. You know what I'm
mhm,
saying? You and it's a negotiation. You know what I'm saying?
mhm.
You know your side have a set of things you want in it. I look at it. I don't like this. I don't like that. I want to add this. You know what I'm saying?
Sure,
And that's the whole thing with contract.
sure,
Contract is negotiation.
sure.
And the fact that he's under contract, I don't know what his
Mhm,
contract situation is. I don't know how many
right.
years, but so that's why they can't just fire him. You know,
Yeah.
because the contract probably has some language in it that
Mhm,
says, we're gonna have to whatever. It might be you got to buy me out of this thing,
mhm,
or we're gonna have to come to some kind of settlement. And that's
mhm.
why because I know that some people were saying he should have resigned. He should just resign. But
Mm,
when you resign, you leaving that money on the table,
yeah,
whatever money it is. So that's why a lot of people will not resign. They're gonna like you gonna have to get me out of here.
yeah.
You gonna have to fire me. So and it's smart. You sign a contract.
Mhm,
You bound by it. They're gonna hold you accountable to it. You hold them accountable to it.
mhm.
You know. So yeah, I just I like reading a lot of this stuff in the
Yeah,
comments, and people so emotional.
yeah,
People was like really up in arms because it was Nia Long. Oh, how could you
yeah.
do that to Nia Long? I mean, you
Yeah, I
know,
mean, um she's a beautiful woman, no doubt. very successful. But we don't know, what was going on in his head, which like I say, I don't care. That's something they'll deal with. Hopefully, hopefully they can get, whatever might be ironed out or whatever. But all that stuff, man, I don't. Yeah, it's
But
um,
you know, I'm prepared. I'm prepared to take the lashing. What do we really know about Nia Long? Other than she's a beautiful woman and she's an actress. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't know Nia Long or him personally. We don't know these people personally.
mm-mm,
And like you said in the beginning,
mhm,
it's something that they're gonna have to work out together.
mhm,
You know what I'm saying? It's something that the two of them gonna have to sit down and work out together. And like I say, I don't know Nia Long. She could be the most beautiful, nasty person in the world.
mhm,
You know what I'm saying? And she's an actress. So she always got a good,
mhm.
she's always on point when you see her on TV. But I don't know her off screen. I don't know her outside of the stuff she do on TV. I don't know what type of person she is,
Yeah,
what type of personality she have, or what kind of issues they may have had before this.
sure.
Because nobody said that they had the perfect situation to
Mhm,
begin with.
mhm.
So it's a lot that's gonna come out of it. You're gonna get the rumors, and then it's somewhere in all of the mess is gonna be some truth in that.
Yeah,
So I'm just looking at Ben's comment. They killed Buddy Harrison.
yeah, that
Like
was my
who?
buddy, man.
Oh, okay,
But
okay. So that's the
yeah,
guy. That's the boxing guy.
yeah, that was my,
All right, all right, all
that
right.
was
I
good
wasn't sure
dude,
what that
man.
was. Yeah, I
Yeah,
saw you
you're,
posted that the other day.
yeah, yeah, buddy was a good dude. He was one to give a shout out to our homegirl, LaRonda too, because I met him through her. Um,
What's LeVon Ferguson?
yeah, May.
Man, yeah, yeah, okay.
So give a shout out to May if you're listening. Anybody know LaRonda? She's great lady. But when I first started my blog, she reached out and said, "Hey man, this would be a good, interview for you to," and so we hooked up and they gave me an open invitation to come down there anytime. So I would visit. Sometimes I ride all the way down to Rosecroft Raceway after work and spend a few hours down there with them just chilling and talking. But yeah, rest in peace, man.
Yeah,
Good dude.
R.I.P. and condolences to his family.
Yeah.
So it's always tough, to hear people's passing,
Hmm.
especially when you have some kind of connection to
Yeah.
them. What age range was he in?
Buddy, I think was 62.
Okay, so he young guy.
Yeah,
Not
but he
not.
fought through a lot though. Buddy beat cancer. He was in prison.
Mhm.
He was shot. Um, but the dude, man, I can't stress enough how much he did for homeless people
Mhm.
in and around DC. Um, every week him and his wife Ty, they would go down in the neighborhoods of DC giving away clothing, shoes, socks, underwear, soap, toilet tissue, whatever. They would feed them.
Yeah.
Um, good dude, man. And
Yeah.
you know what? Yeah, it's sad that somebody, did that in front of his home.
Oh wow.
Just shot him in cold blood like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy out here, man. That's why, not to get too much off of it, that's why we enjoy things like this because this is kind of a haven where, we can just laugh and chill and not be so caught up because it's dreadful sometimes out there.
Oh, for sure. A lot going on. A lot going on, and you need these outlets. We need these outlets. I know for sure. After last couple of weeks I've been having, I
Yeah,
definitely needed to
sure.
to get on here today and
Mhm.
just talk about some sports, man, and have some fun. So to put a bow on that Ime Udokah situation. I'm sure it's more going to come out of it in the coming weeks. But let's get to the other elephant in the room. And there's something we talked about here a few times for sure. I know I've talked about it a few times since the end of the last football season, and that is Lamar Jackson, you know, and his contract status. And I've said it. I've said it. I know for sure since March, February, that the longer the Ravens wait to sign this young fella, the price is only going to go up. You know, the price is only going to go up. So, you know, I know there's a segment of people that are waiting for this kid to fall on his face. You know, they're waiting for this kid to come out and say, or to have a game and he just looked real average and nothing going to go his way. And he'll probably have one of those games this year, and all those people will come out the closet. They ain't got much to say now. But the young man is balling. You know what I'm saying? They truthfully, the Ravens should be 3-0 at this point. You know, the defense laid the egg in that second half of that Miami game. And that's not to take nothing away from Miami because you know, you got to make the plays too. But Lamar Jackson is not only living up to the standard, I think he's surpassing the standard even I had for him. You know, the unanimous MVP 2019, 2020. They got back to the playoffs in 2020, but he got hurt in the playoff game against Buffalo.
But he still had a great year.
He had a great year, for sure. Last year, 2021, I mean, he was having a great year up until he got injured. You know, Ravens were still in playoff contention pretty much until he got hurt. And it kind of started falling by the wayside once he went down. But, you know, the young man went on and put on some weight. So he put on about 20 pounds of muscle in the off season. You know, his throws, he looked like he's making the throws that people say he couldn't make. You know, he's leading that team. They go as he goes. I don't know how much money he's looking for. I don't know what his number is, and I don't know what his thought process is. And you know, you hear the rumors that he turned down $250 or whatever. He got to be paid. He got to be paid because if you don't pay this man, if you don't pay Lamar Jackson, and you know, now people starting to say, well, maybe they're going to trade him at the end of the season. I think that's that fair talking, you know, well, just trade him and see what we can get for him. Or to me, the franchise tag would be the dumbest thing ever. Because whatever that franchise number I heard is like between 45 and 50 for next year, based off what the quarterbacks, top 3-4 quarterbacks are making this year. That whole number is going to count against the cap next season, which would limit the moves that they could make, you know, for the 2023 season. If you sign this man to a contract, give him a nice bonus, and then you could split the rest of that money up. You could kind of, you know how they do it. They pay him a little less the first couple of years, and then it's kind of back heavy. And if he balling at the end of it, same way New England used to do with Brady, you know, some of the bigger core, they restructure. They get another bonus. They spread that money out a little further. And it's always friendly to the team. But the quarterback, the number one quarterback, a primetime quarterback in the NFL is going to require top money. I don't care what team he play for. And Baltimore Ravens, you know, and I said this to somebody yesterday. rookie Baltimore with the star players coming off rookie contracts, they always took care of them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, maybe that second contract they was looking to get,
Mm-hmm.
they may have let them walk after that, but they always got paid after the rookie contract.
Mm-hmm.
Ray Lewis, J.O., Suggs, uh, Flacco.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, you go down the list, all of the guys that were like stars on the Ravens,
Mm-hmm.
and especially first round picks,
Right.
they always re-signed them. We just never had a guy like this,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But he got to be paid, and I think if they don't pay him and they mess this thing up, it'll be catastrophic to the organization. I believe so.
Mm-hmm.
I believe so. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, this is kind of 3 or 4 prong approach that I've always looked at with Lamar. When you look at your old shows and you'll see what I'm talking about. Number one, if you're talking about his play on the field
Mm-hmm.
for his 4 years, he's been fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
You line his numbers up with any quarterback in their first 4 years as far as total yards, touchdowns, completion percentage, quarterback rating, he's right with the best of them.
Yep.
The guy's a smart young man. I've said it from the very beginning. He studies hard. You can't play that position and jump and be that good of a player without studying. He has done that. He has proven to the organization that he is worth the money. As Brenda Queen's sister, appreciate number one, appreciate all the beautiful ladies on here. She says, pay the man. She's totally right.
Absolutely.
You get into the other situation where, as you stated, the Ravens have always paid their star players on their second contract. To a lot of them catapulted them in the stardom. They did what they had to do to keep them in the organization. That's what made Ozzie Newsome great. That's what made the organization great.
Yep.
Then you go to the fact that you, as a quarterback, if you're having a big time organization, you want a great player, check. You want a great role model, check. You want a great young man and to represent your organization, check. You want to have a great young man in the community of Baltimore, check. What in the hell else do you want this young man to do? I'm just trying to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the other side of it. It's Tom Brady. You know, that's the GOAT. If it's Tom Brady, he would have got that money.
Oh, for sure.
If it was Dan Marino, he would have got that money. If it was Joe Montana, he would have got that money. All I'm saying is, this young man has done everything that they have done. No, I don't think it's because he has no agent. I don't think that at all. Now, what this young man has said to them, and I'm going to say this, Deshaun Watson, you got a guy who, like I said before, is the most relaxed muscle guy ever in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
With 26 massage league. There's nowhere in the world this guy has any kind of kinks in his muscles. The Cleveland Browns pay him all this money. If you want to say they messed the market up and allow Lamar to hold out, hey, that's fine. He's betting on himself. I think and not only that, let's run it down. At 24, 23, and let's go back 2 years when he was 23 to now. He has been the most mature young man in all of this. He has not come out and said anything ill to the Ravens. He, in fact, has wore this huge Ravens chain that he still wears.
Mm-hmm.
The guy's been down with them for day one. So you got all these intangibles that he's taken care of. Now he comes out now. In his first three, he knocked off the Russ in the first half against the Jets. Second half, he was fantastic. Since then, he's been on a roll. All the guys, the NFL guys, will say, "Yeah, you know what? He's worth the money." But see, here's the other side of it. You got this little sect of people who say, "Oh, he's not worth that. Why would you pay?" See, here's the kicker. We got all these corporate America guys. These white collar guys saying, he's not worth the money. If that same said white collar dude was at Goldman Sachs and he's bringing in $500 million, he wants to say, look, I want $40 million a year.
Yep.
If he was bringing in $1 million, he couldn't ask for $40 million.
Right.
But if you're bringing in the organization, whether it's play on the field, ticket sales, jersey sales, beer sales, food sales, parking, everything, tickets going up, yes, give him that 45, 50 million guaranteed give him 300 million guaranteed. That's what I would do. Let's just call it what it is. Give him 300 million guaranteed, and you work out the rest.
Yep.
So that's my spiel on.
Yeah. But I don't
whatever LJ.
Whatever the number is.
Yeah.
Let's get that done.
Yeah.
Because, and we talked about this on another show.
Yeah.
How, I don't know what it is about people in the city. Sometimes they turn their back on guys. I remember Ray Lewis getting a lot of flack.
Yeah.
When he was up for a contract, and this wasn't even the rookie. This was after his rookie contract. This was when he was trying to get that third contract.
Mm-hmm.
He was at the definitely was playing for the last contract that he would get. He was playing for that last contract, and I remember people saying, "Well, why don't he just go to?" Because remember they were throwing the Cowboys out there.
Sure.
Why don't he just go to Dallas and go with Jerry Jones? And all of that hatred, and I'm sick of seeing them dance anyway. But like I said before, I think people take that stance because they have a fear that these guys are going to leave them anyway. You know what I'm saying? It's that you're going to blow up so big, and Baltimore has the little brother syndrome anyway.
Yeah,
is he going to grow up so big? Because you see it with the Orioles. And you used to hear, well, he's just going to leave us and go to the Yankees. I used to hear that. I used to get sick of hearing that.
Yeah.
I can think of one guy that left the Orioles and went to the Yankees. And that was Mike Mussina.
Mm-hmm.
I think did Brian Roberts play with the Yankees too?
At the end? I can't remember.
I think he may have played with the Yankees. But anyway, pay that man.
Reggie Jackson did.
Yeah, well, I don't consider him an Oriole. He wasn't here long enough. And Reggie said George was hustling, man. Big George was hustling. George was saying, hey, come on up here and get this money, man.
Yeah.
And get us a couple of them rings.
Keon made a good point. He said Brett Favre would have got the money. Yeah, Green Bay would have paid him.
Yeah, motherfucking ready to got it.
Yeah.
Excuse my language.
Green Bay would have paid him.
Because we're going to talk about Brett Favre in a minute, too. Thanks, Keon.
Yeah.
Gonna bring that slime ball up.
I'm gonna put the link down there for Brett Favre selling EBT cards. I'm gonna put the link down the bottom.
Who was he selling them to?
I don't know, man.
Congressman?
No, he wasn't even selling them. He was using that money to
buy the
volleyball. Yeah, come on, man.
So all right, we didn't pivot it a little bit.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
See, you like that? You like that? I used a little pivot.
Yeah.
Shout out to Fred Taylor and Channing Crowder and Ryan Clark. Good podcast, by the way. But did you see the report where they said that he also was trying to get like $1 million to help with recruiting for the football team to try to recruit Shedeur Sanders and
I'm gonna tell you something, man. You know what? You gotta be a special kind of scumbag to do that kind of stuff, man. I mean, whether you're doing that or I don't know, selling gift cards. I don't know. It's another story, man.
Oh yeah, little, Yeah, but old Brett, But let's wrap up the Lamar Jackson stuff first.
Yeah.
So, I watched this young man. I hear people say stuff about him. These first 3 weeks, there's nothing. It's not really much people can say negative.
Mm-hmm.
But prior to the season, and you hear all this stuff. Well, they're not getting it done. The contract not gonna get done. I heard people talk about, and I said they obviously haven't watched the Ravens games. They said, he's the type of player that can't play from behind because he can't throw the ball. So they got to get big leads on teams. And I'm like, what team have you been watching?
Mm-hmm.
But I know that these national guys don't really focus on teams. They kind of getting bits and pieces from every team and try to have something to talk about. When they on these national shows.
Mm-hmm.
But I had to do a little homework,
Mm-hmm.
just to refute that. So Lamar Jackson has 6, and this was up to prior to the season starting this year. So this season stats are not included in the numbers that I pulled up.
Mm-hmm.
But he has 6 fourth quarter comebacks in his career, and eight game winning drives. Right, and this is a guy they say that can't pass, that can't play from behind, that is a running back. We can't forget that. But and this is what, his fifth year. So in his 5th year, and these are 4-year stats. So in 4 seasons, he had 6 fourth quarter comebacks and 8 game winning drives. That don't sound too bad to me. And I know in the MVP season, they were blowing most of the teams out. So he didn't really have to come back too much that season. But they talk about Lamar Jackson like they picked him up off the high school roster somewhere.
Nah. I kind of, even though I enjoy the banter of guys like us, but to a man, whether it's a coach or a player in the NFL, they all say they would love to have him as their quarterback.
Oh yeah,
that has to mean something. And Bill Parcells used to always say, make a play. Just make a play. And he's a quarterback, but he makes plays. He continues to make plays. He's just a football player.
Yeah.
He has transcended the quarterback position. And it's coming from a guy, I was the biggest Dan Marino fan ever. I still think he's one of the best to ever do it. Just
sure.
Pure drop back quarterbacking. But when you got a guy like this, when it's 3rd and 7 and everybody's covered and he has the ability to get 8 yards on just running, I mean, just the weapon that he is fantastic, is remarkable. Other teams respect him, other fans respect him. Pay that man his money, give him what he deserves. I heard Banks say, trying to give him a lesson about he should have an agent. That has nothing to, in my opinion, respectfully, Bank, it has nothing to do with what that man has done on the field. Because we can have any kind of representation we want coming to the table. But if I'm worth what I'm coming to the table for, then I think I should get it. I could have 6 homeboys with me, come with me to the table to say, look, I want $5 million a year. But what I can show you is what I produced and what has allowed your organization to grow in that time that I've been there. He has done that. So give him his money.
So I'm a podcast connoisseur. I just saw yesterday Bobby Wagner, linebacker for the Rams now. He used to play with Seattle. He was on what's the cornerback's name for the Rams from Florida State? Jalen Ramsey. So Jalen Ramsey has a podcast.
Okay.
And Bobby Wagner was his guest on the episode I saw yesterday.
Okay.
Bobby Wagner represents himself.
Yeah.
He doesn't have an agent. And he talked about when he knew he was coming up for free agency at the end of last season. So he said his process was he sent a text message to every GM of teams that he was interested, may have some interest in playing for.
Mm-hmm.
I think he said about 18. He sent about 18 text messages
Mm-hmm.
to these GMs. Hey, this is Bobby Wagner. I'm interested. I'm a free agent.
Mm-hmm.
And he said there was a couple of them that didn't take the call or thought it was a prank.
Mm-hmm.
And they had to go through the little back and forth with the text to really know that it was him. But he said that the stuff that people say, and you hear it a lot, that when you represent yourself,
Mm-hmm.
that when you're in these negotiations, that the players aren't equipped enough or their skin isn't thick enough to hear the negative that the teams will say about them in these negotiations. And he said that wasn't his experience at all. That wasn't his experience at all. He said, teams are honest. Teams are honest with him about what they can and can't pay for him. But he said that he just feel like Lamar and his mom as his representation, man. They pulling for him, and all the players are pulling for Lamar. Because they all stick together because they if he gets paid, it's going to look good for the next guy.
Sure.
And the next guy. So they are all pulling for him, but they all say to a man, like Jalen Ramsey said, he didn't trust himself enough, and I don't think he quite worded it that way, but that's how I took it, to represent himself.
Sure.
But he said that he wished, now looking back, maybe that he would have taken that route. And I think it's just because the players are getting smarter. There's a lot more information available to them with respect to negotiating contracts and what an NFL contract is or is not. And like we talked about earlier, when we talked about Udokah and his contract situation with, whatever his situation is, the contracts is more than the money.
Sure.
Contracts can have a lot of stuff in those things that don't mean nothing to us. And if we saw it, we probably were like, man, they put that in the contract. But, negotiation is just that. And you only get what you negotiate. So if you ask for the moon, what they say, shoot for the stars and land on the moon, something like that. I mean, that's the name of the game. Yeah. So, if Lamar Jackson wants, $300 million and he want a personal driver to drive him to and from the games every Sunday. And, if he wants Cheetos instead of Frito, whatever, you know what I'm saying? That's all part of negotiation. And you only going to get what you're willing to negotiate. You know what I'm saying? Brenda, so go ahead.
Brenda makes a great point. Appreciate you, Brenda, Queen's sister. And she was vocal in college when they wanted to change the position. But here's another thing, Brenda, that a lot of people don't realize. His mother, she may not be a so-called professional agent, but she has carried herself and she has had so much professional decorum that a lot of agents who are seasoned don't even have.
Right.
You'll see a lot of them on TV, rah, and doing this, making a case for their client, which I understand. But she has stood back behind the scenes. She has let Lamar say what he's going to say in his brief statements. She has not come out and said anything bad towards the Ravens, which I think bodes really well for him to get a contract. Neither one of them have made anything difficult at all. See what you get in that boardroom. Of course, they nailing down this, that, everything they can, like you said, to get what they can get.
Yeah.
But that woman has been very professional.
Yep.
And she is, like Brenda said, she's stood by her son, and I hope for her, I hope for him that it works out and they get that money and they continue to be Ravens and support his family and continue to do great things, which he's already done.
Right.
But no, I give his mother much credit. I mean, much respect and a lot of credit for how she has handled the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Because we all know, whether it's male or female, all got relatives that'll be all in front of the camera. Oh man, you better get no. She's like, no, we're gonna do it the right way. My son,
Oh,
he's gonna get the money regardless.
oh yeah, yeah.
It's just whether it's gonna be in a Raven uniform.
Yeah. Would you
And
say
she knows it.
all in the videos?
Yeah, all in Suge Knight dancing with shiny suits and shit.
All in
Harlem
the
shaking,
videos and
you know,
shit.
all that. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
Did
But
Tawana tell you that?
Allen Iverson mother.
Yeah. Did Tawana
Allen
tell
Iverson.
you that? Look, Allen
Don't go
Iverson
there.
mother.
Don't go
She was
there.
on.
Don't
Yeah,
go
she was
there.
on. Yeah, she was on one. Did Tawana tell you that? Yeah, classic.
Yes,
Respect
sir.
it. Yeah, his mother wasn't playing though.
Shout out to Allen Iverson and his
Yeah.
mom Ann.
Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah.
But you know, speaking of agents, right?
Yeah.
You know, you don't hear about the agents like you used to. Remember the agents was jockeying for that time. I can't even remember some of them names because they were so
like
big
Drew
at one time.
Rosenhaus. Oh,
Yeah,
they still
Rosenhaus
making
and all
big
them
time
guys.
money.
They still making money, but you
Yeah.
don't see them jockeying for TV time like you did a few years ago.
They so, you know what, man? As the years go on, they may have done something that Lamar's mother's been doing. Let's negotiate behind the scenes. We don't need to be out there,
Yeah.
holding conferences or trying to gain leverage with the public. They don't need to do that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah. But it's definitely, he definitely got to get paid.
Yeah.
And I'm on record. I posted it today, and I commented on somebody posted today. I'm gonna say it here for the record.
Yeah.
If the Ravens do not sign Lamar Jackson, it's gonna be catastrophic to the organization.
Yeah.
Straight like that. It's gonna be back to chasing around Kyle Bowlers of the world. You know, and the Ravens have, as an organization, struggled at that quarterback position. You know, for people, you know, that like him or hate him, Flacco was a godsend.
Yeah.
You know, at the time that he came here, because you know we went through those years with Kyle Bowler, and we got Steve McNair. He gave us a year, and he kind of fizzled out at the end of that 1 year he gave us. But think about all the names that we had behind the center, man, between 96 and 2008, 2009. I mean, it's a laundry list. Some of them guys, I'd be shocked when I read the names. I said, damn, I forgot all about him. You know, I mean, think about Stoney Case.
Oh,
you know, Tony Banks,
Scott
Mitchell. I mean, these were the Ravens quarterbacks. Yeah.
Unbelievable, man.
And so get this deal done, man. Stop playing with this man and get this man his money.
Yeah.
Shit. Back the bank up.
Yeah.
Back the damn bank up and get that man his money. You know?
Bring his truck.
Hey, get that man his money, man. And
Lamar, let me hold something when they give them money.
If you need some, you know, I'll break out my bodyguard skills. You know, I'll walk around with you, big fella.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I look like I used to be a bodyguard. Anyway, I'll walk around with him, you know, walking to the bank.
Yeah.
You
but
know.
Yeah, I hope he does, man. Hope he gets the money.
So your well, I ain't gonna call him your guy. So Brett Favre, you know, Brett Favre is in the news. And like you said earlier, you know, he's being accused now of soliciting money that was earmarked for poor people, welfare programs in the state of Mississippi.
Mhm.
and that money was utilized for a volleyball stadium, gym
Mhm.
type situation. That was it. What was his school? Southern Mississippi,
Yeah.
where his daughter was a member of the team. No less.
Mhm.
And what was it, like 1.5 million?
Yeah.
And so now, people are calling for Brett's neck. They're
Mhm.
calling for his head to be chopped off. I heard he just lost his radio show and his podcast on
Mhm.
Sirius XM.
Really?
I heard they took him off. I saw that yesterday.
Mhm.
He had a couple weekly shows that came on, and they Sirius XM took him off the air. Um, I I don't want to do the politic thing. I don't want to do the political thing. But I see people, man, they get up in arms about these welfare programs and who they say benefits from them. Who usually gets the blame for being the recipients of these programs. And people are up in arms. It become a political issue. You know, whether you right or left wing. Uh, to me, at some point, it's just about human, man. You got to eliminate the red and blue of it. The conservative and liberal aspect of it. Sometimes it's just you got to do right by the people. Mississippi is one of the poorest states, if not the poorest state in the United States. Those people could benefit much more than a millionaire, a guy that's made over $100 million in his career playing football,
Mhm.
that's trying to get a college, a university, uh, a facility on a
Mhm.
team where his daughter plays. I mean, I'm sure he could have solicited some of his friends from the NFL
Mhm.
and some of his business contacts that he's made over his career, and they could have came up with 1.5. I'm sure he could have got that. He could have reached out to one of his corporate sponsors, somebody, because he does some commercials. He was doing some anyway. I'm sure he could have got them to put up some money and put that facility together. But instead, he reached out to his, you know, political buddy, a congressman from the state, or the governor. It was the governor, right? The former governor of
Mhm.
Mississippi. And I think in the text messages or emails that came out, the governor told him where the money was supposed to go.
Mhm.
And Brett was like, "Man, give me that money, man.
Mhm.
You people don't need to eat,
Pretty sad, man.
you know." But so, with respect to the coverage, right? Do you think they should give more attention to that, like ESPN?
Yes.
Should they spend more time talking about a situation like that versus Ime Udokah?
Yes. I mean, I understand because the Boston Celtics are such a story franchise, but when this is about right and wrong and high profile figure,
Mm-hmm.
um, basically stealing.
Oh, for sure.
Um, you're doing that, like you said, in Mississippi. Um, but this continues to happen every day. You got these slime balls, taking advantage of, less fortunate people,
Mm-hmm.
seeing what they can suck juice out of a rock
Mm-hmm.
and continue to do that. So until somebody is really, you know, held accountable in a public fashion.
Right.
Because a lot of times, especially in America,
Mm-hmm.
we like to see things happen, And I think if people saw, the process of him being held accountable for this, it may change a lot of people's minds about, taking advantage of the less fortunate or doing things like that. We watch it every day. I watch these shows called American Greed,
Mm-hmm.
um, City Confidential. all these different shows where people try in different forms of fashion fleece the less fortunate and fleece these organizations who are trying to do good into um, just make their position better.
Yeah.
Um, and I think it's totally wrong, but I don't know, man.
Yeah,
It's sad all the way around. I don't want to give Brett Favre too much of my time because
yeah. But
it's sickening when you really think about it.
uh-huh.
It's sickening, man.
Oh yeah.
It's sickening.
But it goes to
Yeah.
show you, and I know I've said this somewhere before. Punishment is not for everybody,
Yeah.
especially in a public way.
Yeah.
People were up in arms about, and we're just going to use O.J. Simpson
Mm-hmm.
because O.J. was a man with means. He was somebody that had the means to defend himself. And we ain't going to talk about whether he did it or not, but we just talking about just the ability to defend yourself in court. People was up in arms about that.
Yeah.
The fact that he had the money to defend himself.
Mm-hmm.
But what that also show you is how unbalanced the system that we live by is.
Mm-hmm.
Because why should it cost you, an absorbent amount of money to defend yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whether you have the means or not. A lot of times your guilt or innocence or whether you're going to pay the price for a crime has a lot to do with your ability to defend yourself
Mm-hmm.
in a financial way.
Mm-hmm.
And Brett Favre again is a man with means,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm sure whatever comes of this, if anything, there's like I said, is a segment of the public that's going to be very protective of him because of who he is
Mm-hmm.
and how they uphold him, and for some of the stances he's taking publicly. He's taking some public stances politically, and I just think, man, again, we're looking at just the coverage. We're not even talking about the court aspect. We're talking about the coverage that his crime has, because it is a crime, versus somebody's infidelity, or not even infidelity because he's not married, but I mean his lack of judgment on the job, the fraternizing on the job type of situation. That's getting public. I mean, that's getting coverage daily. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, when you get opportunity as a video, I told you about earlier, it's good comic relief. I got a great laugh out of it. So, when you get a chance, go check that out. But I'm not going to publicize it for everybody. But when you get an opportunity, go check that out.
Mm-hmm.
And let me know how much laughter you had after you watched it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a shame, that we go through, these things, man. And like I say, your status in the community or your status in the public eye depends on how you should be treated with respect to criminal behavior.
Mm-hmm.
It's nonsense. If it's a crime being committed, they're supposed to be, one nation under God and all that stuff. The rules supposed to apply to everybody, no matter what your financial status is, or no matter how politically correct that you are. The rules are supposed to apply to everybody. Supposed to. But we know the rules don't always apply to everybody equally.
Mm-hmm.
And again, Brett Favre should be dealt with because this not something to sneeze at. It's not something just to kind of pull the covers over and say, well, but he didn't hurt anybody, but he could have hurt somebody. He probably did hurt somebody because that money again, was earmarked for people that needed it. Somebody could have got the meal that they needed to keep them going with some of that money. And well, I can go on for days about that. Any closing thoughts before we wrap up?
No, man, it's been a great show. Appreciate you having me on, man.
Yeah, always a pleasure. Still working on figuring out a day that we can, come back regular. Just been busy, with work and other things going on. I haven't been able to do the podcast as often as I would like, but it's a lot going on. Football season always bring out a lot of conversation and a lot of discussion. Also, we coming up on October. Toward the end of the month will be the 1 year anniversary of the very first Sports Mix show. So I'm hopeful that I can at least get the fellas on somewhere around that date, and we kind of celebrate it that way. This year, just for the first year, just celebrate it that way with the fellas on the podcast, and we chop it up and just talk about the first year and what's to come in the up and coming years and whatnot. So thankful for everybody for tuning in for sure. I didn't post the link to the YouTube page in the chat like I usually do, but the YouTube page is in the scroll there if you see it at the bottom of the screen. And we at the Sports Mix 2021. You can follow us on YouTube. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. Trying to get my social media footprint a little bit, bigger. Thank you, Queen Sister. Appreciate you, tuning in and supporting.
Appreciate you, Brenda.
As always.
Great comments.
So yeah, just trying to grow my
Love you, Keon. Appreciate you, man.
Keon, my brother, what's good? Gotta get Keon up on here one time, man.
Yeah.
Gotta get Keon up on here, man. So yeah, Keon, be on the lookout, man. Let me know what your availability is, brother. Yeah. And we'll get you up on. We'll talk some Roll Tide or something.
Yeah, Keon always has some great comments.
Yeah.
That's my cuz, man.
Yeah, Keon, good dude, man. I definitely enjoy, having when we was talking on your show. Always. He's like family now.
Yes, indeed.
He's family now, so
no doubt.
For sure. Yeah, definitely, Keon. I'm gonna be reaching out. Because I always like, get some different opinions and outlooks on things, I don't claim to know everything. And we all iron sharpens iron, as they say. So, we all kind of help each other and look out for each other, man, and talk this stuff. One last thing before I go, man. I've been you my boxing guy. I've been watching some old fights over probably about the last month or so. When I get a little downtime, I'll be watching these fights, man. And today I happened to see a fight with Larry Holmes and Michael. Damn, I suck with these names. But the fight was in 1979, and this was the first time Holmes had been knocked down, and it was a hell of a fight.
Come on, Dokes.
Michael Dokes. That could be. Did they fight 2 times?
I'm not sure. I can't remember.
Because they fought again in 1989 when Holmes was 51 and the other guy was 49. And Holmes knocked his ass out and knocked him out clean the second fight. The first fight, he knocked him out, but they said the referee stopped it too soon.
Well, I don't think he was he wasn't 51 in 89.
Well, he fought at 51. It may not have been 89, but they said it was 20 years after the first fight.
Right.
But they said Holmes was 51 and the other guy was 49 or 48. And Holmes was sharp. I mean, at 51, man, he was sharp.
Might have been 99 he fought him.
He was snapping that that left jab out there, man. Pop, pop. I was like, man, but I know again, you talked to Larry Holmes and know that guy personally. You got a relationship with him. Y'all done some couple shows together and stuff. And that's something that I want to dig into a little bit more. I'm gonna start. Maybe we'll do a show where we talk a little boxing. Maybe some, because some older school boxing. We talk maybe kind of talk about some of them old fights. Some of the classic fights from back in the day. Because one thing about it, when I start to look at some of the, just in sports in general, sometimes we get lost and we get caught up in the moment. And the what's up, Neil? And we kind of the older guys, we start to discount what they did, because they did it 25, 30, 40 years ago. And it's not what's popping now. We see that in basketball, we see it in football, but boxing, I'm been watching these older fights. Also saw some fights with my man Riddick Bowe. Riddick was my guy for a minute. Big Daddy. And I watched a couple of the fights with him in Holyfield. The second and the third fight I watched a couple nights ago. Classic, man. Classic heavyweight fights. And all them guys at that time were jockeying for that spot that Tyson had left while he was in prison. So you got some good stuff, man, during that time. But I just wanted to mention that before we get up out of here. But once again, man, thank you to everybody that tuned in. Appreciate you, my brother, for joining me.
Yes, sir.
Steve, what's his name? Steve Bashadi and Eric DeCosta, man, work this thing out. Get Lamar Jackson his money, or I'm gonna have to come on up there to one winning drive. I'm gonna have to help the Jacksons with this negotiation. We need to get this done because I don't want to go back to the days of Kyle Bowler. Shout out to Kyle Bowler, by the way. He probably work at Heck Company or something now, no? Macy's
got more money than me, bro.
No, he probably spent that money. Now, did he deserve his money?
Oh, that's another story. I ain't even getting in that one. Yeah.
All right, my man. Peace out.
Yes, sir. Peace.
Appreciate y'all, man. One love.
All right.